Sony security sucks because the trailer is officially leaked completely online. I'm not going to post it here because they're doing door-to-door copyright takedowns, but what I'm going to show you is a synopsis from somebody else before the trailer actually comes out in a week, so let's get started. The second trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day begins in a prison. Spider-Man and the Hand get into the fighting stance that we see in the first trailer. We see several acrobatics from the Hand, and the scene ends with that shot from the end of trailer 1. But now the scene is finished and takes place in the prison, not in the outside. The following scene shows Peter Parker watching a live stream of Ned and MJ. This is similar to what we saw in the first one. The next scene shows Peter putting on his web shooters, but the web shooters fly off toward the wall because now he has organic webbing. So this is kind of new. The second trailer is starting to diverge from the first one. Now we get the scene where Peter meets Bruce Banner and they have a conversation. Peter says, "You found a way to suppress mutating DNA, right?" And Bruce says, "If you see me without this, run." Bruce makes a joke by yelling. The following scene features Peter swinging around at ultra-fast speeds. A bird gets stuck to his stomach. He is out of control, crashes into things, and lands in a wedding. He was running away from Jean Grey, I think, or he says, or something like that. Now, the trailer starts to go frantic from this point on. He says, the tank runs over Spider-Man. It cuts to a quick shot of William Metzger talking to the leader of the Hand. We see Jean Grey with a darkened face, just like the Void from Thunderbolts. A massive explosion happens on an island and hits the city. Everyone is frozen except for the Punisher and Spider-Man. There is a third character, but I only saw the trailer once and couldn't identify them. Now, many are speculating that it could be Tombstone, but there are also reports that others might make a cameo too. Jean Grey is jumping from mine to mine looking for Spider-Man. We see a scene with a helicopter. He swings from the helicopter. Then the trailer pauses. He says Peter is in Ned's room and sees several photos of Spider-Man. Ned is apparently a huge Spider-Man fan, nothing weird, as he himself says. Then MJ introduces herself to Peter Parker. The trailer goes frantic again, he says. A web explosion makes Spider-Man fall to the ground. Jean Grey asks if Spider-Man is okay, and then Jean threatens MJ. Peter says she won't get away with this. It cuts to the Grey Hulk. Jean makes the Grey Hulk transform somehow, most likely mind control. So this is showing that there won't be a main villain in particular. Spider-Man Brand New Day seems to have veered off into many sort of mini conflicts here and there, and nobody really knows who the antagonist will be. Hulk becomes giant, and Peter is terrified by his size. Peter runs away, Hulk chases after him, Hulk does a thunderclap, and Peter goes flying down the hallway. The next scene is Spider-Man swinging to MJ's house. He tells her she is in danger. MJ simply believes him and agrees to leave with him. It cuts to a scene of the two swinging, reminiscent of the scene where Peter and Mary Jane from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. We also saw this in one of the posters that was released a couple of weeks ago. Spider-Man introduces MJ to the Punisher. MJ asks who he is, and Peter tells Frank that he has nowhere else to go. Now here's where it gets interesting, because this was reported that a very famous and familiar actress would be voicing the trailer, and now we find out from the Beyond reporter that it's going to be Marissa Tomei's voice that begins to narrate the trailer. Peter is falling from a building. She says MJ and the Punisher have a quick dialogue. We return to the prison scene, and the Hand has arrived. Peter appears unmasked, badly bruised, looking down sadly. It cuts to the Punisher in the car saying that if Spider-Man is going to do something, he better do it now. Aunt May is narrating the trailer. This whole thing can get really scary. Now I want you to remember your responsibility. Never forget that, no matter how powerful you become. And Peter is watching a ninja star coming toward him in slow motion. This image was also released to the public. The ninjas are jumping off each other to reach Spider-Man, who is on the prison ceiling. Peter heads towards them, creates a web tornado to take the ninjas down. Then it cuts to Peter looking at Aunt May's grave. He says he misses her and blows her a goodbye kiss. The trailer ends with Spider-Man in a giant building falling on top of him. Hulk is apparently in the scene, is what he speculates, and after that, there's even a funnier scene. This is probably the post-credit of the trailer. Spider-Man arrives at the prison to rescue someone. He is surrounded by guards. He asks the guard for 1 second. He cracks a joke. stretches, he asks if the guard is ready, and that it cuts to Spider-Man beating them all up. Lastly, he makes a point that Tombstone, Boomerang, Scorpion, and Tarantula do not appear in this second trailer. So essentially, in the first trailer, we got Scorpion and a couple of other villains shortly, just to show you what the movie is going to be about, what the villains are going to be. But now it also seems that it will be more personal this time around. The second trailer is going to show him with MJ, with his aunt, and stuff like that. So it seems like it's going to take a more personable approach. Don't forget, it's releasing on June 17th. So we have a couple of days here to speculate also and to see what leaks we also have. Are you anticipating to see this now that no villain apparently is going to appear in this trailer? Perhaps we'll get something else along the way. So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. And leaks are, of course, happening everywhere. As we talked about yesterday with the Superman leaks, the set leaks, it was pretty much showing what Spider-Man will not. So in this clip, there's some insinuation of mind control and the crowd chanting. This brings us to the most dominant theory across every comment section and thread I've read, and it's one that kind of makes sense if you piece together everything we know. James Gunn has confirmed The Man of Tomorrow is as much a Lex Luthor movie as it is a Superman movie, and the two have a work together to a certain degree against a much bigger threat kind of understanding. And this threat is, of course, Brainiac. Brainiac is a Kaluan superintelligence who shrinks and collects cities, preserving them in bottles while destroying the world they came from. He's one of Superman's most terrifying enemies because he can't be punched into submission. He's a planetary level threat who requires strategy, not strength, in order to defeat him. And what's most important, Brainiac has mind control capabilities. In multiple comic storylines, he's been able to control populations, implant commands, and turn entire civilizations into his puppets. So now we connect the dots. The crowd in this set leak is chanting for Superman to kill Lex. But why would ordinary citizens want their hero to murder someone on the street? That doesn't really track with a Superman who we know to be a clean act and a clean hero, unless they're not in control of their own actions. Unless Brainiac is influencing the crowd. So one theory that keeps surfacing goes like this. Brainiac is controlling both the crowd and Superman. Why? Because Lex, even though he's wearing the war suit to even the playing field, is trying to stop a mind-controlled Superman, and he's losing badly. So in essence, in this video, Lex Luthor is the good guy. The crowd, also under Brainiac's influence, is egging Superman on. The hero we're watching in this footage isn't Clark Kent making a choice, it's Superman being used as a weapon. So another detail to support this, by the way, is one of the leaks, someone off camera was heard demanding that Lex be brought to them. So if that's Brainiac's voice or someone under his control, this theory fits perfectly. Brainiac wants Lex Luthor, Superman is being used to deliver him. And if the theory that Superman will break the mind control through sheer willpower turns out to be true, that's one of the most Superman things imaginable. The man who represents free will, hope, and the best of humanity, refusing to be a puppet. The practical suit. It's a much bigger deal than you guys can imagine, because it isn't what it looks like, but it's about what it is. It's a practical suit, an actual physical build with real LED lights worn by Nicholas Hoult on set, interacting with real actors and the real environment. The reason this matters goes deeper than practical looks better. You know, it's a direct response to the single biggest criticism of superhero cinema in the last decade, and that's the weightless CGI float. I mean, remember Iron Man? That first film in 2008 used a massive practical suit for close-ups, and it felt heavy. You believe Tony was inside this machine, but by the time we get to Avengers, the suit was almost entirely CGI. The helmet was always off. The floating head problem became a meme. So James Gunn is doing the opposite. The war suit in this leak has real bulk. The green glow comes from actual lights built into the chest and gauntlets. You see them pulsing in the dark in the first video. So this isn't a CGI placeholder. This is an actor in a real suit in a real set. Number 3 is the first time the suit being used in live action. So Lex Luthor has been Superman's nemesis since the 40s, but for the first 3 decades he didn't even have a costume. He was just a guy in prison garb or a lab coat, a mad scientist, a convict, not exactly action figure material. That changed in '74 when DC gave him his first supervillain look, a purple and green jumpsuit with flared collars, repulsor jets, and wrist lasers. That version appeared on Super Friends, on merchandise, on lunchboxes, and you guessed it, it went on to be super popular and super viral. And then it was just gone. It was gone from the comics. It was gone from everything. The post-crisis reboot transformed Lex from a mad scientist into a billionaire CEO. The snazzy suits replaced the war suit. For the next 20 years, Lex fought Superman with money, influence, and other people's fists. The war suit became a relic of a forgotten past. It took until 2004 for the suit, and credit to James Gunn for bringing it back, because it wasn't back during the Christopher Reeve era, not in Superman Returns, not even in the DCEU. So it was James Gunn who brought it back, so kudos to him sincerely. Number 4 is the Lex setup theory. So there's a competing other theory that's almost as popular, and it doesn't involve mind control at all. The idea is that Lex engineered the entire scene. He knows he's wearing the war suit, he knows he can take a beating, he provokes Superman, maybe by destroying something Clark, cares about, maybe by using kryptonite, maybe just by being Lex, and then lets Superman lose his temper in front of a crowd. The goal is to make the world see Superman as a threat, not as a savior. So this is classic Lex Luthor. He can't beat Superman in a fistfight, so he beats him in the court of public opinion. If the footage of Superman wailing on a man in a metal suit goes viral, even if that man is Lex Luthor, it damages Superman's image somewhat. So it makes him look unhinged, even as the way he was punching in that leaked set video. It justifies every argument Lex has ever made about Superman being too dangerous to trust. And here's the thing, both of these theories could be true actually. Brainiac could be controlling the crowd, explaining the kill him chants, while Lex is simultaneously executing his own plan within that chaos. Lex is the kind of character who would see a Brainiac invasion as an opportunity. He'd find a way to use it against Superman even while pretending to help. Number 5 is the actual fight scene. So this is Superman Unleashed, because in that video, Superman has Lex by the suit, slams him into the ground, and just keeps hitting him. There's the crowd surrounding them. This is not, and the video looks actually sinister. It shows Superman in different light. This is not Superman being heroic. This is Superman beating the absolute brakes off of someone in front of a crowd. And the crowd actually is not stopping him. Nobody is telling him to stop. So one leaker who was recording claimed that he heard the crowd chant, "Kill him," during that exact sequence. And if you look at it in a different light, it literally kind of looks like Superman has become Homelander in this video. But in the DCU, this isn't actually the first time that Superman has lost control in James Gunn's universe. Because in the first Superman film, he absolutely ragdolled Ultraman, an evil alternate version of himself, and that was one of the most satisfying moments in the movie. The difference being Ultraman was an equal and Lex is just playing a tough guy in a suit. Lastly, I want to mention the cinematography, the kryptonite lights especially, and some animated series references. So these are some deep cuts that James Gunn is going for. First of all, the kryptonite lights. If you look closely at the suit testing video, the green glow isn't just decoration, it's kryptonite themed. So Lex's entire aesthetics is built around one thing that can hurt Superman, and the war suit is making that explicit through its lighting design. Is a brilliant touch actually. The suit isn't just armor, but it's a walking weapon designed specifically against Kryptonian biology. And the cinematography of Gunn's action style is distinct. I mean, he uses wide lenses, fluid, handheld camera. You can see in this set leak that there's literally a fully handheld camera being used in this punching sequence. So this gives you a fantastical ground feel. The scene will probably feel really grounded, as if you were part of that crowd, albeit not controlled by Brainiac, hopefully. If you want to check out other videos like this, I have a Rick and Morty preview that I just posted yesterday. You can check that out. Subscribe for more covers on other shows, and I'll talk to you next time.